Video for the final exam review, part B. So it says graph the equation using slope y-intercept. So the slope is always beside the letter x, the variable x, and the y-intercept is always the number that's by itself. Okay, so step one, the y-intercept is equal to -3. So on the y-axis, which is up and down, we put a point at -3. Now step two, my slope, oh, my pencil's breaking, sec. My slope is, well, there is no number in front of the x, so we just put a 1. Okay, so if there's no number in front of the x, it means there's a 1 hiding. So my slope, which is m, equals to 1, but we have to have it as a fraction, so we just put it over 1. So the number on the top, because it's positive, it tells us up. If it was negative, we'd go down. And here, because it's positive, we go right, and if it was negative, we'd go left. So it says go up 1, right 1. Starting here, up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1. Okay? Oops, I have a ruler. So I'll just fold that. And then I join them up. And there's my line. And I've graphed the line using slope and y-intercept. Let's look at the next one. So here, y equals 9x minus 3. The number that's in front of the x, that's going to be my slope. And this is going to be my y-intercept. So step one, my y-intercept is equal to -3. Oops, that's two negatives. So I go to my y-axis, which is up and down, and I put a point at -3. Step two, my slope, which is m, is 9. That's a funny m. But it has to be a fraction, so I put it over 1. So this is positive, so I go up, and this is positive, so I go right. Okay, so it says go up 9, right 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and right 1. There. So if I want, I can also do this, go over 1 and down 9 to make another point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. But 2 points is enough. And there's my line. And I put arrows on it because it goes on forever and ever and ever. Okay, next one. Y equals -8/7 x minus 1. So the number that's in front of the x, that's my slope, and that's my y-intercept because it doesn't have a letter next to it, a variable. So step one is always the y-intercept. That's -1, so I put a point on the y-axis at -1. Step two, my slope. Now the negative, really in the computer it shows this. The negative is right in the front. It's not with the 8, it's not with the 7. So it's okay, you can put it with the 8, or you can put it with the 7. It doesn't matter. This is good or this is good. So let's just put it with the 8. That's my slope. So because this is negative, it means go down. Positive means go up. And this is positive, and so it means go right. So down 8, right 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and right 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There. So I'm going to join that up. And I've graphed the line using slope y-intercept. Let's look at the next question, number 3. Oops, no, there's more on the other side. Okay, so it says graph the inequality. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to pretend it's an equal sign, like that. Okay, and I'm just going to use slope y-intercept. Okay, so the number that is beside the x, that's my slope. Oh, there is no number here for the y-intercept. So if there's no number, it's really like plus 0. So my y-intercept is just the 0. So step one, my y-intercept equals 0, so I put a point at 0 on the y-axis. Step 2, my slope is equal to 6, but I have to make it a fraction, so 6 over 1. So it's up because it's positive, right because it's negative. And now if you forget, the number on the top goes up and down. If it's positive, you go up, negative, go down. The number on the bottom, if it's positive, you go right, and the bottom, and negative, if it's negative, you go left. So that says go up 1, or go up 6, right 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right 1. And I can do it backwards the other way. I can go over 1 and down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because the shape looks the same. It's like chess. You just make the same shape. See that? So I've made 2 points. Now I'll join it up. So I've made the line, the boundary line. But now it's not really just a line. I have to shade one side, because whenever we see things like this, we have to shade one side. So all I do is I pick the easiest point. Usually I'd pick 0, 0, but 0, 0 is on the line, so I can't choose it. I can pick anything else. So I'm going to choose 1, 1 right here, because that's a really easy point. So 1, 1. So I'm going to take this inequality. I'm going to substitute 1, 1 into it. So this is x. X is 1, y is 1, so I put it in. 6 times 1 is 6. Now I'm going to read it and see what it says and see if it's true or false. 1, here's the big side, so 1 is bigger than 6. 1 is bigger than 6. 1 is bigger than 6. No, 1 is not bigger than 6, so this is false. So that means this point is false. That means all the points on this side are false. Anything on this side of the line is false. Well, that means everything on this side is true. So I always have to color in the true side. Okay? Now one thing that I always do when I make a mistake, or not a mistake, I just forget. Okay? I have to go back and go, if the inequality looks like this and it has an equal sign, that means the line is going to be a solid line. But if it just looks like this, greater than or less than, it has to be dashed. So if I look here, this does not have an equal sign, so this line has to be dashed. So I'm just going to go over it and change it. I'm going to change it to a dashed line, because it's not part of the solution. There. So my solution is everything on this side of the line, but not that line. Okay? Let's look at the next one. So, where's my pencil? First, I'm just going to pretend it's equals, and I'm going to graph this line. So this is the x, so that means the number in front of the x is my slope, and the number that does not have a variable, does not have a letter, that's my y-intercept. So step 1, the y-intercept is equal to 3, positive 3. So on my y-axis, always the y-axis, I put a point at 3. Step 2, my slope, which is m. Oh, there's no number in front of the x. If there's no number in front of the x, it's a 1. Okay? So, but it has to be a fraction, so I have to put it over 1. So that means I go up 1 and right 1. So up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. And I can go the other way, just make sure it looks like stairs. So I'm just going to keep going like this. Oops, that's the bottom. And there's lots and lots of points, so I can make a straight line. Ooh, wait a minute, before I draw the straight line, let's look. When it looks like this, it's dashed. And when it looks like this and it has an equal sign, it's solid. So let's put the dashed right away so I don't have to fix it at the end. Dash, 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 there. But it's not just a line, it's telling me to color one side because it's an inequality. So I'm going to pick the easiest point on here, which is 0, 0. For the previous question, I didn't because 0, 0 was on the line, so then I just picked an easy one. But now I get to pick the easiest one, which is 0, 0. You can pick any point you want, but pick the easy ones. So I'm going to substitute this into my inequality. So 0, 0 plus 3 is 3, so now I'm going to read it. 0, and I touch the small side first, 0 is smaller than 3. 0 is smaller than 3. 0 is smaller. Oh, that's true. 0 is smaller than 3. So this point is true. That means everything on this side is true. All these points are true. That means all these points are false. And what side do I color, the true or the false side? True. So my solution is the true side. There. Okay, let's do another one. So y is greater than x minus 5. I'm going to pretend it's an equal sign. Okay. And the number that's in front of the x, that's my slope. And here, this is my y-intercept. So step 1, I put a point at my y-intercept, and that's negative 5. So on my y-axis, go to negative 5, put a point. My slope, well, there is no number in front of the slope. That's okay, it's just 1. It's hiding. So my slope, which is m, equals 1. So I go up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Let's connect those dots. Wait, is it a solid or a dashed? Because there's no equal sign, it's going to be dashed. So let's make a dashed line. There. Now I have to color one side. Well, let's pick the easiest point available. Don't pick anything that's on the line. So I'm going to pick this one, 0, 0. I'm going to substitute it in. Zero minus 5 is just minus 5. Now let's read it. 0, and I touch the big side first. 0 is bigger than minus 5. Let's do a little graph here. There's 0, here's negative 5. Is 0 bigger than negative 5? Is 0 bigger than negative 5? Yeah, that's true. So this point is true. So that means any point on this side is true. That means any point on this side is false. What side do we color, true or false? True. So I color this side. There we go.